Welcome, sentient beings from all known universes and beyond. It's time to activate your cranial downlinks and prepare to receive a raft of discussion on a cosmic ocean of science fiction and fantasy topics, interviews with local area genre devotees, and insightful prognostication by our soothsayers of science fiction, our forecasters of fantasy, and any other beings that happen to get caught in our gravity well. This is the Galactic Driftwood Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Galactic Driftwood Podcast. I'm Bill.
I'm Linda.
I'm Seth.
I'm Charles.
I'm Jenna.
And we made it, yay! without overstepping one another. So welcome to another show. We think we have a good one today. We're going to be talking about Christopher Nolan's movie Tenet, which I guess was, according to what I've seen, released in theaters in August, but I don't know how many people, probably not too many, I would imagine, saw it at theaters in August due to the pandemic. And then I think in January it was released to streaming distribution. So three of us have seen it, Jenna, Linda, and I. And so we will talk about it, and we'll let Charles and Seth question us for clarification as we go through trying to describe it.
I kind of like those conversations where we've got some people who've seen it and the others who are just like going,
what? So I guess to start off, it would be appropriate to say that Tenet is really not a movie about time travel in as much as it's more a movie about time manipulation. And so the way it works is there's this device that looks like a turnstile, and you go into this turnstile, and the turnstile manipulates you in such a way that when you come out the other side, for you, entropy is reversed. And so we know that as
you may want to define entropy for
the listeners. Essentially, entropy is this idea that as time moves forward, the state of disorder in the universe increases. You can think of it like this. Let's say you've got a bowl of oatmeal, and you put a little jam in there to add some flavor, and you take your spoon and you stir it clockwise to start mixing in the jam, and you see the little swirls of jam as you start mixing it. And then if you stop and you take your spoon and you start going counterclockwise, you don't see those swirls then slowly disappear and reform into that little blob of jam that you first put in. It doesn't work that way. As time goes forward, the arrow of time goes in the forward direction, the entropy or the state of disorder in the universe increases. That's why as you set a cup of coffee on your desk, it gets colder because the heat dissipates and the energy leaves that object. Or why if you knock a glass off of a table and it falls on the floor and breaks, you never see the glass suddenly spontaneously come back together and leap back up on the table. Now, in this movie, that's not the case. If you have a glass for which entropy has changed, that glass would put itself back together and leap back up on the table. Or in the case of this movie, what you see more frequently is that bullets are sent through the turnstile and they have reverse entropy. So instead of being fired from a gun, they are caught by a gun. And so you'll see this used to kind of devastating effect in... I'm
sorry, but Seth's face says it all.
Yeah.
So maybe you need to clarify what this turnstile is. Is this like a turnstile in a building, or can they just like put this turnstile
like
anywhere?
Imagine almost the big turn. It's like almost the big turning doors that go into the airport.
Yeah.
Just for a non-related thing.
Yeah.
Why would the bullets be like? Okay, so the bullets would go into the turnstile.
No. You go into the turnstile and you change your state of perception in the world. Like you're going backward in the perception of time.
Okay, so
is a way
you're
to-
moving backward in time. So you go through the turnstile, and then you're moving forward, but everyone else is like,
Yeah, basically.
No, it's kind of it's the opposite of that, Seth. So you've kind of got the idea right. Let me see if I can explain it. So,
You can't. You tried with me.
well,
and you watched the movie.
And I freaking hated it.
so this is this. If you think about time travel, you think about Back to the Future, or you think about Doctor Who, or any of those types of shows, you will see a character that uses time travel, and whether they're jumping forward in time or backward in time, that particular character is continuing to age at a normal rate.
Yeah.
So let's say as I am now, I jump into a time machine and I go back 10 years, right? Well, when I pop out of that time machine, I'm going to be moving forward through time, and I'm going to continue aging just like I'm aging now, only I'm, aging. Let's say I'm 60. I jump back 10 years. I'm still going to be 60 when I pop out of the time machine. And if I stay in 2011 for a year, I'm going to be 61 when I come back to my current time. Right. Aging doesn't stop for me. Now, in this movie, what happens is when you go through this turnstile, and the turnstile is like this huge revolving metal machine. And you step into it and the whole thing revolves and your entropy is reversed. So when you come out of the turnstile, you are regressing in age, and you come out of the turnstile at almost the exact moment you went in, just a couple of seconds later to allow for the rotation of the turnstile. But when you come out, you are then regressing in age. You're getting younger. And time for you moves backwards at the same rate that time for everybody else moves forward. So you come out of the turnstile, and each minute right now, before I go into the turnstile, I'm getting older. When I come out of the turnstile, each minute I'm outside, I grow younger. And because the laws of entropy are different, then different features happen when you go through this turnstile. So, for example, I mentioned the bullet, and they will send bullets through the turnstile to change the entropy of the bullet. So if the bullet's on a table and you put your hand over the bullet will jump up into your hand.
There was a Dwarf episode that sounds
Why would that happen?
No, there was a Red Dwarf episode that sounds kind of like this, that ends with one of them trying to go to the bathroom in the woods.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It's not that they just put the bullets in the turnstile. So at least the way I thought it was, is there's this Holocaust event using this technology. And what they started collecting, like some of it is being purposely sent back, but some of it is like shrapnel from the apocalyptic event that they're finding that makes it do it too, because it's been radiated as a part of this inverted exposure to this inversion machine that ultimately we find out destroys the world. Because it's an end of the world movie where it's, spoiler alert, where if they fail, it's the end of space-time at minimum for the Earth.
Yeah, so the whole premise of the movie is that at some point in the future, there is a female scientist in the
I'm glad
Oppenheimer.
someone on the internet tried to put this together.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there is an Oppenheimer type female scientist in the future that develops this entropy reversal technology. And she soon realizes that this algorithm is capable of completely reversing the entropy, not just of a single person or an object, but of everything. And that if this were activated, it would eventually destroy the earth, because it would destroy the universe, because it would rewind everything in time. And so this algorithm is composed of 9 different pieces, which she breaks apart and disperses over the globe to hide them. Kind of sounds like, the MCU gauntlet stones, doesn't it? Where they take all the different stones and hide them different places. Anyway, so this bad guy is
really quick. Sorry.
Yes.
She makes an algorithm that can destroy the universe, and her solution is to break it into 9 pieces.
Yes.
And hide it different places instead of just deleting the
it.
file.
Right.
Well, it's
Why?
not just a
It's not just a file,
data
it's-
file. It's a machine.
Why not break the machine then?
Yeah. Well,
Why
if you
keep
think-
it?
Way to see through everything, Seth.
Wait,
Yes.
why keep it though? Why?
that was kind of my thought.
Oh, if I turn this thing on, everything dies.
Yes.
Well, I will keep it here safe on my desk where one of my cats could act. No, you take it apart.
Right. You destroy all knowledge of it.
Yeah.
Right.
This is the movie for me in a nutshell. Here,
Yeah.
right here. This is Neil, and also Neil.
Yeah, no, I would say that by the end, with what happens with Neil, I was mad about that.
Yeah.
Poor kid.
Yeah. But I
But-
will say, you have to see the movie a couple of times, because the first time through, you're like,
Linda's like, no, you don't.
what?
I
the
don't
hell?
know that I'd invest that time again.
But I will say that by the 6th time through the movie, you should have a fairly good understanding what's happening.
It's
Here's what I'll say about Christopher Nolan,
I
and what
got it
I
next
really
time.
appreciate, what I thought he did good with this. He took a chance by making something so cerebral, and that's kind of his MO. He
Right.
likes to do stuff, and I think he was really just trying to see how far he could push it. It's like not even for the audience, it's for himself. That's the feeling I got.
Yeah.
And I also appreciate, you have a Black actor who's the lead,
Yeah.
and they don't sexualize him
Right.
as an object,
Right.
which is what they tend to do, period, with action movie stars. But Christopher Nolan has been really good about taking you can't count The Dark Knight Rises, but like taking
Right.
his stars and leaving it about the action.
Right. Yeah. So the picture that Linda is showing on the screen now, they talk in the film a lot about using these temporal pincer movements, where they want to attack this facility where the evil baddie is reassembling the algorithm machine that's going to destroy time. And
Why?
well, because he was in the Soviet Union when they had some nuclear accidents there, and he was part of the
Chernobyl.
cleanup team, and as a result, he's got incurable cancer. He's going to die, and he's of the
little bitter.
philosophy that if I can't have it, no one will. So if I'm going to die, everybody dies.
This is why you never tell anyone
Yes.
about your algorithm that destroys the universe.
No,
Right.
one
So
of
anyway,
my
these-
favorite. One of my favorite definitions for entropy, just in literature,
Yeah.
is I always get the whole title, but the Blade Runner, The Dream of Electric Sheep. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one of the chapters in there. One of the guys describes trying to keep his apartment clean.
Yeah. I used that
And-
example for Linda this morning explaining entropy.
Yeah, and it's done really well. It's just he's like, so far he's kept up, but things do tend to get a little more dusty, and there's a little more dust on the floor, and everything does tend to move towards the floor.
Right.
That's chaos.
But I think even if you spent your whole life, because so every time I have to clean, I think of that one chapter, and
Yeah.
and there are moments where I would risk destroying the earth to not have to,
Not to have to clean.
to not have to vacuum
One
again.
more dish.
Yeah. So the temporal movements are kind of cool in that they'll have a group of soldiers in the normal going forward in time attack a site, while they have another group of soldiers that go through the entropy, the inversion process. So entropy is reversed for them, and they're also attacking the site. And
No, they're gathering intel because as it's like they're going forward together, but they've gone through gathered intel and then they've gone through the entropy to go back because they can't see each other or communicate with each other or
Right.
themselves, to bring that intel back to the start of Red Team's POV so that they can go into it more with better intelligence.
right. Yeah, and it's very strange, especially that scene where Sator, who plays the bad guy, is trying to communicate with the protagonist, and one's in a reverse time frame, and the protagonist is in the forward time, and they're on the opposite sides of a window, and he's talking to him, and of course the things he says that you can hear through the glass is like him talking in reverse. It's like rewinding an audio tape, but
Yep.
then there's a translator or another speaker that plays it in the forward direction so that he can hear the questions that are being asked. And yeah, it's really weird. There's some really cool chase scenes where there's people that are in the reverse entropy, chasing people that are in the normal time frame, and you see them racing down the interstate, and the guys in the forward time frame are racing down the interstate correctly, and the other guys are racing after them in reverse, traveling down the interstate.
Is the demeanor of this film depressing?
I
No.
mean,
No, that's too bad. Yeah. No, it didn't. No, because as a young engineering student, when I took thermo, I think I had overdone my classes. I had a lot on my plate, and so every time you calculate the efficiency of an engine or whatnot, you're also calculating the death of the universe, right?
Yeah.
right.
And I found that, I remember at the time, to be very depressing. I had not been exposed to or not very well to the everything coming to an end, and to have to recalculate that
Right.
12 times a day
Was depressing.
It was a little, yeah,
Well, no, because I mean, I think
especially
it
in
is a
Washington
little-
State when there's no sun.
Right.
It is a little depressing because you understand that the protagonist, he's ultimately going to set this up as a master plan and go back and recruit and get all of this together so that I can go forward and be successful. Because like he throws, it's almost a throwaway line, but not quite, where he's like talking to Neil and he's like, so I have to assume that us talking, having this conversation, going through these actions, we were successful.
Right.
And Neil's like, yeah, it's a comforting thought. We just have to, whatever has happened, and we are fulfilling those actions to that end result.
Right.
So I guess I want some clarification really quick. The main character is just known as the protagonist. He doesn't
Yes.
get a name.
Right. That's correct.
Is there a reason for that, or
Do they call him protagonist, or
Yeah. No, they
Like-
don't, but he
because that would
does
be
he refers to himself as the protagonist a lot.
Yeah.
he does?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's funny.
Because the arms dealer she starts this narrative. One of the people he has to interact with starts this narrative of they're all a part of a story, and there can be more than one protagonist, and that there's a bigger plot line encompassing them.
Yeah. And so
Sounds like some fourth wall breaking right there.
yeah.
I have a headache.
And
Does
essentially
Deadpool just like lean his head in and go, hoo-hoo?
That would have
And-
made it a better movie.
the title Tenet is interesting because it's spelled the same forward and backwards.
And the letters are
Yeah.
rotated so that if you look at it from the other direction, if you
Or
flip
upside
it,
down, rotate it. Yeah.
it'll be the same thing. I was just noticing that.
Yeah. And the bad guy's name, Sator. There's also maybe Charles has heard of this, Sator Square, which dates back from early Christianity, which was a block. It was like a grid, and there's letters in the grid that no matter which way you read them, it reads out the same
Oh
way.
wow.
So now you brought up Christianity with Sator, and I'm just thinking, could it be Sator?
Yes, that is
Yeah.
the appropriate response, Seth.
So, and there's in the word tenant is the word 10, forward and backwards. And you'll see 10 referenced kind of throughout the show, especially at the end in the final dramatic pincer movement where the red team and the blue team are one's doing a 10-minute countdown and the other one's doing a 10-minute count up to when they have to get rid of this algorithm before everything's doomed.
Yep.
Doomed.
Yeah.
Why
And then
keep the algorithm?
And then the
So,
weird
Go
thing
ahead.
too is
This is just gonna bug me.
it will. You have to watch the film because I'd be interested in hearing your perspective next show on what you thought of it. But the weird thing too is in the final pincer movement, Neil, he's in the he goes into the reverse time frame, but then he figures out something else is going on. So then he jumps into the forward time frame to try to help himself resolve. I don't want to give too much away, but anyway,
I don't think that's possible.
it's kind of confusing. And so there's two ways to tell somebody that's in a reverse time frame. One is if they're wearing red,
and an oxygen mask,
or if
because
they're wearing an oxygen mask, because you can't breathe reverse
Can't breathe
oxygen.
backwards.
You can't breathe reverse oxygen. Did
No.
you just hear yourself? You can't breathe reverse oxygen. Why not?
it like explodes your lung cells.
Yeah, because your lungs are working in a reverse fashion. Your lungs are not
God.
breathing in oxygen, you're breathing in carbon dioxide and expelling oxygen. So you have to have a special tank because it's reverse entropy.
So how does the special tank fix it though? That doesn't change how you're.
That'd be the same with everything. Is the problem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, because the
that
tank
won't-
comes through with you from the other side, so it's reversed like you are.
But your lungs are still working the same way.
It hurts. Make it go away.
No, they're reverse entropy lungs.
No, they
Oh.
aren't. That's the same lung.
Okay, so before we lose our audience anymore,
No.
this is what I would say. It's a very unique cinematic piece worth seeing for its experimental level of sci-fi plot narration.
Yes.
So just don't break your head trying to understand every element. Just be
Entertainment.
Be a seashell on the seashore. Let the waves come over you and just
Right.
take it in. That's all
And
I was
Seth, I
gonna
want you to watch it. You've got 2 weeks. I want you to watch it 6 times,
No.
and we
I
will
refuse.
discuss
No.
it.
He's like, no.
I've only got 5 to go, and then I'll fully understand.
But was it palindrome heavy just for fun?
No, not really. No, other than Tenet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the So with what you said about people having to have a special breather to have reverse entropy,
Yeah.
you know that there's a prequel scene to the movie where they're first developing the technology and they realize that this happens. So like the first few people who go through, they just die.
Right.
And they're like, oh, well, their lungs can't breathe reverse oxygen, obviously.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and the other trick is to make sure that you never enter the entropy reversal machine until you see yourself backing into it on the other side.
What?
Why?
Well, because then you know you survive.
So I guess there's just a guy waiting, sitting at the entrance, like waiting to see himself come through the other side.
No,
and he just never makes it, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
What did you say, Jenna?
I said no, because then if he's just sitting there, he didn't plan his mission effectively.
Right.
You can't just sit around those things.
No.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, if you don't see yourself come in,
Yeah.
it means you didn't survive, and you're just like,
Oops.
oh no. What do I do now?
Right. Right.
Well-
Well, and one of the things that they use to good effect is that reverse ammunition, because they'll put somebody in front of a bullet hole that was created by a bullet that's had its entropy reversed, and then that bullet will leap back out of the hole it created through anything that's in front of it, trying to get back into the gun that it was shot from. And so they'll put people in front of the bullet holes, and as the bullet goes through them backwards, it creates a lot more damage than it would have going through the front way.
But okay, so they reverse the entropy of these bullets,
Yes.
and then they put them in the guns and fire them.
No.
No, they're in the way.
So they reverse the entropy of
That
the
doesn't make
bullets. Then they like put them through a hole, like they make a hole in the wall and put the bullet in the hole, so that then at some point someone with a gun comes along and goes click, and then the bullet comes out of the hole that they have placed there in the wall.
No,
No, they don't
it's
click
like
first.
Seth,
They
stop
click after the
complicating
bullet
it.
gets back in the gun. They unclick.
Okay, so but still somebody has to reverse the entropy of this bullet.
but it has to do
And then,
with intention.
but that doesn't make. That still doesn't make sense.
It's
because-
intention.
What?
It's intention.
It's intention, because someone has shot it before, and now someone knowing that the intention had been to shoot it before is taking it back.
Right.
Yeah.
So even intentions reversed in this
Yeah.
world.
What?
Right.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But still, okay. So you've got a bullet. Is it in the cartridge?
Not when
Like
it's
a
in the
bullet's
hole.
two things. It's the cartridge that has the accelerant, and then the actual projectile. So do they reverse the whole thing? Because
The
that
whole
wouldn't
thing
work.
has to be reversed.
The
What?
whole thing gets reversed.
You have the gun and the bullet.
But you'd need no, because you'd reverse the entropy of the bullet and it would have the accelerant in it, and then you'd have
Hold on, Jenna. Jenna,
Yeah.
you might want to call 911. I see Seth's head's getting larger and larger.
I think
Any moment now, it's going to explode.
He looks like the guy from Big Trouble in Little
so the
China.
bullet goes back
like,
into the
in that
gun. The
scene when he gets so
accelerant,
mad, he blows up.
Yeah, right.
accelerant from the bullet would have to also reverse entropy.
Yes, because the accelerant was also reversed.
But how did they get the accelerant, reverse it, and back into the thing?
no.
How does
And,
this
and
reverse?
the other thing is when they try to burn somebody
Right.
alive, it freezes them to death.
No, because it would go like this, right? Because every electron's now a positron, and every negative's a positive, and after that, everything makes sense.
No, it doesn't, because like, how do you reverse?
Right.
Like, how does this work? How does the bullet stuff work? I just need to know how the bullet stuff works.
You
Like,
have to
how-
watch the show. Keep in mind, Seth, that the
It's
three of us have only been through the show once.
Once, yeah, you have
We
to
have
watch
5
it.
more times.
No, not 5, just twice. Twice will be enough.
You think?
Yeah.
I disagree,
Wow,
because
Jesus,
we
Mark.
watched it with Zach Nelson Friday night. Zach had already seen it once, and he said it's like a total mind fuck. I got to see it a second time. And so he came over to watch it with us the second time through, and he figures now he's only got 4 more times to watch it.
Yeah. Has anybody tried watching it backwards?
Ooh,
That's
Well,
a good
parts
idea.
of it
That would
would
be
look
something
forward.
Christopher Nolan would do to mess with people. Like, you watch it backwards.
yeah.
Like, you should see if there's like a reverse
Tenet.
copy available.
Yes. Wouldn't that
making
be awesome?
something
No.
like that would break your mind.
Yes.
It's already broken.
Well, listen, I know one thing. If you watched it in reverse, the scenes where you're hearing people talk backwards should sound normal.
Yep, exactly.
Huh.
So, I
I'm
think,
going to look for that.
like I said, for our audience at this point, just it's a unique sci-fi experience. It was obviously a whim. It feels a little bit like a whim to just see what boundaries Christopher Nolan could push. So if nothing else, that's worth seeing. What else do we got, guys?
Yeah.
What
else do we wanna
really
talk about?
quick? If any of our listeners have an algorithm that can destroy reality,
Just destroy
Just-
it.
just destroy it. Don't break it up into pieces for later.
Right.
Don't hide it. Don't send it anywhere.
I disagree. If I have a self-destruct button, I'm keeping it in my back pocket just for.
Don't
Grins.
do it. You sit on your back pocket. That's a great way to destroy reality without thinking about it.
Right. But
Keep
Seth,
your-
I think what Charles is saying is he wants to keep that button handy, because
Yeah.
if he's ever, accosted by muggers on the street,
Something
he
like
wants the
that.
All in
option
the
of ending
world.
it all.
Don't make me do it.
Right?
Yeah, or somebody impolite.
I've got the button.
Somebody impolite.
See, he doesn't even have terminal cancer here, and he's just like, yeah, if I have a bad day,
Boom.
like, bye.
Right.
By everyone, not by.
Yeah. Not by me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Seth, you've been watching some other stuff recently. What have you been watching?
Well, I watched Invincible on Amazon Instant Prime or Instant Viewing, whatever. Prime.
Yeah. And I think, Charles, you're watching that too, right?
Yeah, I haven't made it to the end.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you like it?
It's interesting. It's interesting. It's gory.
Yeah,
Really?
it was. So
It's
it's very
surprising.
good. It's so for you and Linda, it is a
Cartoon.
cartoon. So probably not for you guys,
Yeah.
but it's the first episode really kind of or like going into it, it looks very much like what you might expect to see from like a Saturday morning cartoon from when you were a kid.
Yeah.
It's very much that animation style.
Hmm.
And the first
Right.
episode, it really starts off looking like and feeling like an episode of Justice League,
Hmm.
where you've got it's a couple supervillains attacking the White House, and then the Guardians of the Globe show up, who are very obvious kind of analogs for the Justice League. You've got the fast one, you've got the Martian one, you've got there are all these guys who are just very obviously, hey, this is the Justice League.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
then the shows they're fighting, they're working really good like a team, and you're like, yeah, I'm getting into this. And then the shows Superman analog shows up, and that's Omni-Man, who's this mustachioed guy, and he's obviously been on the planet for a while, but same kind of origin story. Alien from another world came here, or sent here to protect the world and serve as its guardian. And so they go through that first fight, and it gets home, and you meet Mark, who's the main character, this guy's son. And Mark is the Invincible, the guy in the blue and the yellow there.
Okay.
And so he's his son, and in the first episode, he finally gets his powers and is kind of figuring out how to fly and interacting with his dad, the Omni-Man there. And it's all very family friendly up until like 5 minutes into or away from the end of the first episode, when our Superman equivalent Omni-Man kills all of the Guardians of the Globe in a horribly bloody fight.
Yeah.
Who were the
It was
triplets there in the center of the picture?
Say what?
Who were the triplets there in the center of the
Oh,
picture?
they aren't triplets. That's I can't remember what her name is, but her
Multiple
power
girl or
is
whatever.
duplicate, something like that. She can make basically infinite clones of herself.
Oh, I see. How do
And
the numbers change on their suits, though, if they're clones?
I don't know. It just does. So you can always
They're
tell
like
which one
bullets
is
backing out of a wall.
not. Yeah, makes similar sense. But like her method of fighting is essentially to throw bodies at the problem until it goes away. Meanwhile, every time, like she is just like creating duplicates of herself while other ones of herself are getting literally pulverized into paste.
Oh God.
And yeah, but
Who's that
it
fish-
is a very interesting,
Who's that
very
fish
interesting
creature?
story so far.
Who's the fish creature?
Don't know.
Oh, all right.
You
Huh.
gotta watch it, Bill.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll check it out.
But I mean, it's the first season is about Mark Invincible kind of
No,
learning how to use his powers.
the fish creature
And...
didn't last too long. It's the version of Aquaman.
Oh, right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's about him learning how to use his powers, kind of learning about how yeah, he's got powers, but so do other people, and he can and will get the shit kicked out of him if he doesn't approach things smartly, and he does a couple times. And yeah, and it sets up a bunch of other subplots that are really interesting. Like there's one with robots that I can't disclose the end of. I don't know if Charles has reached the end of that yet or not, and I don't want to spoil it for him. But he's got a really good story in this. And then it's also the forming up a new Guardians of the Globe team to replace the old one. And also the mystery of who like killed the original Guardians of the Globe, because no one knows it was Omni-Man.
Well,
So-
I think cat's out of the bag.
Well, it is for the viewers, we know it's Omni-Man. Like
Oh.
that's not a mystery to us. We watch him murder them. Horribly. Like we know, but he arranges it so that no one else knows that it's him. And so there's this global defense agency who's like, who killed the strongest, most capable heroes in the world? We'd
Oh.
like to know.
Oh, Omni-Man's like, couldn't have possibly been me.
Well, during the fight, he gets mostly killed too. So he is like, they set
get
him through the
mostly
ringer
killed?
at least, and so he is the only survivor there. And so the assumption is that whoever attacked them
Attacked him.
didn't quite kill him,
Yeah.
but didn't leave any other evidence. So I mean, it's got a lot going on in its first season, and the season closed out really well too.
So you got people, Seth, that's like in Charles' position, which is the superhero fatigue. What about this makes it worth watching if you're kind of going through that right now?
I mean, if you've got superhero fatigue, I don't know, like, take a break from superheroes. But I
And
mean,
go watch
this
Resident
is a
Alien?
different. This is it's the Invincible series is by Robert Kirkman, who did The Walking Dead. So I mean, if you liked that, this is a good another good taste of his work. It is. I mean, it's done really well. I don't know what to tell you if you're tired of superheroes, other than, you know, this is a different kind of view. This isn't the Marvel superheroes. These aren't the DC superheroes. These also aren't the depressing Watchmen superheroes.
Yeah.
This is kind of what I would maybe view as the more realistic view of superheroes,
But
where if you've got someone with super strength and then they punch somebody full power who doesn't have super strength, the things go badly for their musculature and bones.
But it's not just another The Boys, right?
No, it is not another The Boys. Like, there are not all superheroes are assholes. There are people who are basically good, but maybe they've got a little bit of asshole on them. They've got
Maybe literally, depending on how that fight went.
I mean, yeah. You have you've got the people who are goody two shoes who are maybe learning that the world isn't quite as black and white and good and evil as they'd have hoped. You've got some humor. I think it's a good. It's definitely not for children. Don't show this to your kids. That first Omni-Man fight will scar your children, and the final 2 episodes will definitely scar your children. This is a show with a body count. If you don't have superpowers in this world, you are
cartoon.
fucked.
It's an unusual cartoon.
It for me, it hits that balance between realistic and not going too dark with its realism.
Right.
It still keeps a sense of humor. You still have some good guys, some unequivocally good guys.
Yeah.
Seth, I want you to cosplay as Omni-Man and grow a mustache.
I think the cartoon format was
Omni-Man.
I thought about it. In the cartoon, I think, was the right format for that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because if you tried to make it real, I think it'd be too much.
Too gory.
Yeah.
I don't. It would be really hard to do those production values on a live action TV as well. Like, I mean, the Boys can get away with it, but their set pieces are really small.
Yeah.
These are set pieces where they are just trashing a city center. Like buildings coming down. You're going to space. We go to Mars at one point. Thank you, Kat.
Mars?
Yeah, he goes to Mars. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Was Elon Musk there?
No, thankfully.
Well, Seth, you'd also mentioned something about Marvel Studios celebrating the movies.
Yeah, Marvel Studios this week released, or this week or early last week, one of the two, released a kind of a sizzle reel / Marvel Studios celebrates the movies. That was kind of a look back at the movies up until this point, and kind of that, hey, we're getting to the point where we can go back to the movies feel. And they showed a clip of that scene from Endgame where all the portals are opening up
Yep.
and the heroes are stepping through to fight Thanos, and it was a live shot from the theater where the portals were opening up and the crowd was like, yeah, just like cheering in the theater.
Hmm.
And so they're obviously, you know, they're trying to say, hey, we're coming back to the movies soon.
Right.
So we have a few movies for you.
Right.
And we get another look at the Black Widow movie, which is coming out next. Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings, which will be coming out shortly thereafter. We've got like 4 Marvel movies scheduled for this year. And then they did title drops on the next Black Panther movie, which is Wakanda Forever.
Right.
The next Ms. Marvel movie, which is called The Marvels. So that should be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what more is coming from that. I mean, obviously, Spider-Man No Way Home is coming. There's like 8 different movies. So, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania,
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Eternals is the one that's coming out after Shang-Chi.
So it sounds like Charles isn't going to get any reprieve from superhero movies.
No,
anytime soon.
no.
Yeah. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh,
Yeah.
another Doctor Strange.
Ooh, Thor Love and Thunder. That'll be good.
Well,
No, that is supposed to be really good. The only thing, like, I was kind of put off about the whole Miss Marvel, like the Marvels thing, is that the internet's already blowing up and saying, "Oh yeah, Brie Larson can't carry a movie by herself, and she's ridiculous, so they had to change it to the Marvels to get the audience." I'm like, I don't get that feeling. That's what the issue was.
Yeah, the profitability of the last movie would seem to argue with them.
I know. So it's like, I don't know what the issue is.
I'll bet I will bet you actual money every single person who's saying that if they saw the last movie, got really pissed off when Ms. Marvel went, "I don't owe you anything," and just like blasted the dick into the mountainside.
Yep.
One of my favorite scenes. I don't owe you anything. Yes.
I mean, so I can understand Charles' superhero fatigue, but I do think we still need the escape, and this has been a good escape.
I was kind of bringing that up because you had the Invincibles, Jupiter's Legacies on Netflix now.
Oh yeah.
And it wasn't, I just was kind of going, well, it's getting harder and harder to give it a try.
I mean, I can
We'll see. I could feel different in a week.
I can definitely understand superhero fatigue.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, superheroes were just like what I grew up with. So, like, that is what I watched on Saturday mornings. I read the comic books, and I was just like angry for so long that we couldn't get good superhero movies. So just now I'm just like, give me more, give me more.
I actually have a different perspective because I grew up with all that too, Seth. Like for me, it's more of because we haven't been able to socialize. Like to me, all of this stuff is in the last decade for me. I consumed it all by myself as a kid and I felt like a lonely nerd. And I got, with the explosion of Comic-Cons and things like that, I got to a point where it became social. We found our people, Seth.
Yes.
And then it was really sad for me, like all this new stuff kept coming out, but we couldn't go see it together in the theaters like we used to.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't watching it together and experiencing it together. It was like some saw it, some didn't, it felt like a reminder of all the things we weren't doing together anymore.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, when do you guys think you'll be ready to go back to a theater?
I'd go now. I risk the gyms.
It's
I live dangerously.
For me, I think it's going to depend on the positivity rate in whatever area I'm in.
Yeah.
So, once that starts dropping down more, and like, I'm losing hope in the vaccination rate, but if we can get the positive infection rate to start dropping, that's kind of what we're basing our own thing off of.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if we go to like the Tuesday showings where there aren't many people in the theater, that could be a possibility.
Sure.
Yeah.
I saw that Paramount Plus has started a new marketing campaign called Mountain of Movies. And they're going to be highlighting thousands of new movies that they're going to be adding to the streaming service this year. They said there's going to be 1,000 additional movies from their catalogs that'll go live in early June, with additional titles following through July, which will bring the total number of streamable movies to over 2,500. And this is all part of a ramp up for Paramount Plus, to the point where in 2022, their plans are to release a new original movie on their streaming service every week.
That's impressive.
That is really impressive. And of course, we already know that HBO Max now is releasing their movies simultaneously in theaters and on streaming. And I'm wondering what impact all of that's going to be having on theaters, because as Paramount Plus and HBO Max do this sort of thing, there's going to be increasing pressure on other streaming services to match that at some level, whether it's Netflix or Amazon or, Showtime. What else is out there? The Peacock Network, stuff like that. And of course, Disney Plus. So I think there's going to be increasing pressure, and I just wonder what the long-term effect is going to be on movie theaters. I certainly wouldn't want to be a movie theater owner at this point, trying to compete in this new world, because I think unless they do something like the Alamo Drafthouse did, where they're offering sort of a themed event where you have food and drink and the movie, and it's a combined experience.
Well, I can just say, heaven help us if they're lifetime releases.
Yeah, I was gonna say that number sounds impressive, but there's like 20 Land Before Time movies.
Yeah. No, that's true.
So
Yeah.
like, just the number is impressive, but what's the quality gonna be like?
Well,
Right.
you're talking about the mountain of movies that they're releasing this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, and it'll be interesting to see what all is in the catalog of films that they're releasing. And of course, it'll be really interesting to see if they're releasing a new movie every week next year, what those movies are like. Because you have to imagine that, these big budget movies with big name actors are very expensive to make. So there's not going to be a new one of those every week for sure. So there's going to have to be a lot of just average movies or cheap to make movies that'll be released.
Yeah, the Hallmark movie of the week. That's always a good watch, right?
Yeah. I do want to clarify real quick though. That was a flippant joke. No, don't. Like, if I go to the theater, I'm gonna wear a mask even if I'm just sitting there. And like Seth, I would recommend going like when a time and is going to be less people. And the thing is, we'll be able to control that within theory with the seating requirements, like we used to do, where you'd buy tickets in certain seats. So they'll be able to block out seats to keep people separated.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
It is a matter of still being careful. Just because we might be vaccinated, I think everyone should continue to think about who they might impact or take things home to, even if they're healthy.
And I mean,
And I wonder how they'll do the blocking out of seats, because if you go there as a couple, you're going to
Yeah.
sit together, or maybe you go there with a party of 3 and you're, all vaccinated and clear, you're still going to want to sit together maybe.
Right.
to share that movie experience. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle the blocking off of seats, but still
Yeah.
allow people in groups to be together.
I mean, they might. I think they'd probably, the best way to do that is to probably limit the number of people who can go into a movie at any time, and then have you've got the people who come in and maybe say, okay, we need this block, and this block move, or to move maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Just like keep some space open. I mean, it's going to take a little effort if you want to do that, but
Sure.
I don't want to be the programmer who figures out how to do the choose your own seat thing.
I was just thinking the same thing, but the airplanes do it, right? So there's an algorithm for if you're a frequent flyer, then you get to have a seat next to you stay open if the plane doesn't get X amount of full. So it can be done.
Right.
Like the
Yeah, I
back
would
row.
imagine if you buy a block of tickets at the same time, like you buy a block of 3 tickets, they'll let you have this section, but then nobody can book a seat on either side of that block of 3 or something. What were you
Yeah.
going to say, Charles?
Oh no, I was just thinking about the first class seating, whether that's going to be in the front or the back of the theater.
It's in the middle of the theater.
Yeah, it was.
You think that's going to change now?
Well, I know.
Maybe you want to change that.
I'm going to want to be back row.
I guess it would depend upon which way the air's flowing in the theater,
Yeah, I was assuming
which
down
way
here.
the HVAC system is directing the air. I don't know. And then Seth, you posted some news that I took as bad news, was the fact that after only the first season, Netflix has canceled The Irregulars.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good show. I was really liking that. Did you see it, Charles?
Yeah, but I don't like it when they ruin Sherlock.
Yeah.
Charles,
It's sort of a
you talked to them.
reimagining of the whole Sherlock Holmes story, and
Yeah, well, you can reimagine it, then reimagine it with a different name.
Right.
right.
And that's probably hit a lot of people the same way, maybe. So
I don't know. They said at the end,
Sherlock
that
Holmes.
the ratings were really up there. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Said, it debuted on March 26th and found itself among the top 10 list on the streamer once April concluded. There's no word yet as to whether the series will be shopped to another streaming service to find a new home. But the detective horror series topped The Falcon and the Winter Soldier at the end of April in Nielsen's weekly streaming charts. So, I mean, it was up there, which kind of surprises me that Netflix would get rid of it. I don't understand that.
I mean, it might be like, I don't know. Like I hear that shows on Netflix and other streaming services have a really high bar to clear to get renewed.
Really?
Yeah, and I mean, for the higher production shows, if you think about it, The Irregulars would have a pretty high production budget just because it's set in the Victorian England era, and they've got to do all the costuming, all the makeup on top of the special effects.
Right.
I mean, maybe it's just like too much for, or it was just like too much to take on.
It also might be a way to con people, to push people to watch more content from Netflix. You have to watch this show or else they're going to get rid of it. It's great. Trust me. Go see it now.
Right.
Before it goes away forever. Bye.
Yeah. Or if we don't get more people to watch it, they won't make a second season.
Yeah.
Right.
Hope you liked Stranger Things.
Oh, that
maybe it'll be back. Maybe it won't. Awful nice show you've got there.
Well, it would have helped if
It'd
they
be a
had.
shame if you didn't tell people about it, so we had no motivation to not renew it again.
Right. That almost sounds like evil capitalism at work.
I mean,
Is there a different kind of capitalism?
Point taken.
Beat you to it, Jenna.
So I guess that's the big thing. That's gonna be, I think, as we go into the summer months and stuff opens up, but there's still a challenge. All these new paywalls, like all of us trying to stay up to date on the great things to watch. It's almost too much. Like you could binge watch everything for 2 weeks and still not catch up on everything.
Right.
And that's
Challenge
almost overwhelming in
accepted.
itself.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm finding it, and I don't know if the same is true with you guys, but I'm finding it difficult to keep track of all the shows that I want to watch and that I'm waiting for them to come back on because, somebody will say, "Hey, are you watching, season 2 of such and such?" And I'm like, "Oh no, damn, I wanted to see that. I forgot all about to even look for it." And, last week, Seth, or last show, I think you were talking about Resident Alien and encouraging me to watch that. And so I actually went out to try to watch that. And it's out on available on a number of different services, but each one of them have paywalls. So if you go to Hulu, you have to have Hulu Premium to watch it. You can watch it on the Peacock network, but you have to subscribe to Peacock network. There's no free option there, so that's $6 a month, or like you said, you got it off of iTunes, right? Bought it there, or you can buy it on Amazon.
So wait, you could just subscribe to Peacock for $6 for a month.
True, you could.
That's not a high cost to.
No,
like I paid $25 or something just for the season on iTunes. Just straight up paid for it.
See, if I had your money, Seth, I'd burn mine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I really wanted to watch the show.
But okay, so where does it stop? I'm going to take the John seat on this one. Where does it stop then?
Yeah,
Because-
no,
I mean, you pay $6 for a month of streaming on a network, and then you cancel it. You watch what you want, and you cancel it.
Yes, you
Yeah,
do have
but-
enough time.
but
canceling stuff and opening myself up to ads and continually re-giving my credit card.
Well,
Yeah,
here's the thing.
or-
The goal of these streaming services is to get you hooked on content such that you won't be canceling their service. So you subscribe to Peacock to watch Resident Alien, but then as you get onto the service, before you even start streaming it, they're showing you ads of these upcoming shows that supposedly will whet your appetite to want to watch them. And so at the end of the month, when you finish Resident Alien, you won't cancel it. Instead, you'll go on to the next damn thing.
And then maybe you cancel one of your other services that you aren't watching because
but they're doing the same thing. They've got
then
shows
you have
out
to
there.
have a
They're
little
trying to
bit
get
of
you hooked.
self-control.
And so you've got 20 different shows you're
There's
trying
your
to
answer.
And then
watch.
you're spending your whole life managing these freaking networks.
Oh, it doesn't take long at all. You just
You're not
go to the
old.
account and you just click on account and you click cancel when you want to take it off. And sometimes they'll say, "Okay, we don't want you to go. Here's another 2 months." So you set a reminder.
Seth, get
and you
off her
cancel.
lawn.
See,
It'll be
Seth,
easier.
Seth, when you're young, you think you have an infinite amount of time left.
Yeah.
Linda and I now are old enough that we time's at a premium and we don't want to waste it clicking on cancel and reactivate.
Well,
We
and,
wanna
and
live
my,
it to the
Okay,
fullest.
so
my
how
Roku
is
spreadsheet function yet.
What's that, Charles?
Said my Roku doesn't have a spreadsheet function yet.
Exactly.
Bill?
That's
I mean,
what's missing.
in the time it takes you to quote unquote raise the Jolly Roger and go find and download the show, you could have subscribed to one of these services for a month and then
But that's my
canceled.
point. Is that
The Jolly
month
Roger's
never
more fun,
ends.
Seth.
The month never ends. You're hooked. You can't cancel it.
That's why you.
That's
okay,
what I
so
thought
here's
with-
what you, here's
That's what
what
I
you
thought
do.
with Paramount Plus or CBS All Access, that I would subscribe to it to watch Star Trek Discovery. And then when Star Trek Discovery was over, I would cancel it and I'd wait till the next season came out in a year. But then they came out with Star Trek Picard. Now they're about to
Bastards.
debut Star Trek Strange New Worlds. They also came out with Star Trek Lower Decks. And then they made all of the Star Trek
which you
movies.
never watched.
I
Yeah, we
watched
did.
the first few
Yeah,
episodes, but it's
yeah.
a cartoon, so it didn't it didn't
All right.
grab me.
Bill, here's what I do. Here's what I do when
Okay.
there's a show on a network that I want to see,
Yeah,
but I don't want to take on another new subscription.
yeah.
You go in, you sign up, and if it's not like the free month, if maybe you already you sign up and then you immediately cancel.
Yeah.
You still paid for it. You still get that month, but it automatically cuts you off then. And then you can choose the next month whether you want to re-up or not.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They're trying to seduce you into constantly
And
re-upping.
you have to be smarter than them. They're
I'm
not
not.
executives.
The point. Bill is easily
weak.
seduced, obviously.
Bill, I know you're smarter than ad executives. These are the people who came up with bears who use toilet paper.
Good point.
But I'm weak. All they have to do is show me a ship in space, and I want to see it.
Well, then you keep that specific service.
Oh God.
On that note,
You choose the flavor
Thanks
of ice
for
cream
watching.
you want to eat this time. You
audience,
can't have
tell us what we should do. Is it worth going through the trouble to subscribe for a month on, month off? Is there a better system all of these streaming services should be doing? What are your
Right.
thoughts? Leave your
Right.
comments. Or
We need
next
one streaming
no idea.
service to rule them all.
No, we don't want that.
That's called cable.
No, competition is what's getting us all this good stuff right now.
Yeah.
Because they're all like, we need you guys to watch us and not Netflix, and Netflix is just desperately like, please,
It's stopping
do
us
leave
from having the Russian Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah,
Right,
basically.
right.
I kind of want to see some of that.
Apparently it's out there.
All
All
right.
right.
Well, that was lovely.
Yeah, it was a good discussion. So, yeah,
The
let us
serious
know. what you
audience, let
think.
us know what you think on all this, and definitely let us know if there's anything we should talk about at our show. We haven't done a ghost one in a while, or an alien.
Yeah,
maybe
we
can get that.
We could do a ghost one. Maybe have Stu back on. He's our
Hmm.
resident folklore guy.
You know what we should do?
Hmm.
Now that we're all vaccinated and we can be in the same place, we should do another bad sci-fi, bad fantasy movie,
Oh yeah.
and then do
And
one
then
of the
discuss it.
breakdowns.
Yes.
Oh,
Watch a
HBO
movie
Max's
together.
Logan's Run. We just watched that. That was interesting.
Oh,
I
Logan's
think we're
Run.
about 2 weeks away from having the veranda ready for prime time. So we'll schedule some. I don't know. Maybe if people are around
Okay,
Memorial
right.
Day weekend, maybe we could get together and watch something and then talk about it. We'll have to figure out if any of our listeners have a suggestion over what bad sci-fi movie we should watch and break down on our next show. Let us know.
Yeah, leave some comments on this episode. We're lonely people here.
We're
So
losers.
lonely, so desperate. Give us attention and validation, please.
Talk to us.
Like, subscribe,
All right.
follow us on Twitter.
All the places.
Follow us on, come and find us on Facebook. Leave a message there.
Right. We're everywhere they want to be. All right. Well, thanks again for watching. And we will see you guys all in 2 weeks where we'll have some more fascinating discussion. And we are going to cycle back to our discussion on UFOs, which we kind of talked about last time, but we're waiting for June 1st to come around and the Pentagon to release their report to Congress and see what comes out of that. So
Yes.
there might be
Ooh.
some excitement there to talk about. So watch
Maybe
for that
we'll
in an
learn.
upcoming episode.
Maybe we'll find out about an actual alien ambassador.
I mean, the UN has the chair position, so
Nice. All right,
more to
folks.
come.
Take care. See you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Galactic Driftwood Podcast. For more information and past episodes, please visit our website at galacticdriftwood.space or subscribe to us on YouTube. And now, please deactivate your cranial downlinks, collect your towels, and be sure to watch your step as you exit our gravity well.